Hi there, my name is Salinas, and I'm the creator and director of this community-based project. The community that I chose to focus on for this project was the LGBTQIA+, Latinx, Chicanx, and Hispanic individuals. Being a part of this community myself, I carried a lot of my own personal experiences and thoughts about issues and topics that affect a large part of the community. However, for this project, I wanted to try and distance myself from my own biases because my own personal beliefs aren't always reflective of the opinions and experiences of every community member. There has been a lack of queer, Latinx, Chicanx, and Hispanic voices in our mainstream media, and although it has gotten better, it's not where it needs to be. With this project, I wanted to help increase representation by uplifting these voices and sharing the stories of our community members. I tried to connect with as many individuals as I could for this so that I could help amplify the voices and screams of our community. With this in mind, I would like to address the notable absence of transgender voices in this project. While we did attempt to contact community spaces in order to get a larger pool of community members, unfortunately, we did not hear back from any trans individuals. Trans voices are very important and a vital part to our community, and should this project be revised in the future, I would like to connect with more of these individuals to help expand on the overall community space that we're creating today. Even so, I am very thrilled with the community members that we were able to work with for this project. We had a very small group that consisted of a lot of different identities in our own community, as well as individuals who were not out with their sexuality or gender identity. Hearing their stories and thoughts on a lot of the questions that we asked gave us more insight into who our community members were as individuals. With their words and the work of our creative team, we've come together to create a Libraria de Remedios, named after my mom and my late grandmother. Each of the scenes that were created were based around the experiences and stories of our own community members, with some of our pieces being written by our actual community members. Our creative team consisted of myself, Yanette Arellano, Sofia Levi, Julian Carrasco, and Samantha Lizarraga. Our community members who were comfortable enough with having their names shared were Julian Carrasco, Samantha Lizarraga, Nicholas Delgado, Karina Contreras, Julio Osuna, and Whitney Gonzalez Baldizon. Due to a few different reasons, some of the roles that you are about to see today were not played by our actual community members, but actors who offered to step in. We have each poured countless hours into bringing this project to life, and I hope to have captured the voices of our community members well. And now, without further ado, please enjoy La Librería de Remedios.
Martha organizes books on her desk. In the back, we see bookshelves completely filled with various books and plays. There is a box by her side.
Let's see. King Lear, check. Mojada en Media en Los Angeles, check. Slave Play, check. Fefu and Her Friends. Okay, that's all I need to order more copies of. Hola y bienvenidos a la Librería de Remedios. Here, I've worked on collecting books, plays, and stories from around the world. We have all the classics: Shakespeare's library of plays, the Greek tragedies, Chekhov, plus all the modern playwrights like Luis Alfaro, Naomi Iizuka, Jeremy O. Harris, and David Henry Hwang. Those are the ones people mainly come looking for. Our bookstore isn't like those crappy Barnes & Noble places. Oh no. We have fresh cafe. It makes you feel warm inside and helps you get your day started. You see, our books aren't just regular books. These carry the hearts and souls of the people who lived through the stories, which give the books life. And now, time to open up the new arrivals.
Buenos días, señorita Marta.
Arturo enters. He is holding a bag of freshly baked pan dulce.
Hola, Arturo. How are you today?
Well, can't complain too much. We sold more food than we thought we were going to today, so we decided to take a break and come see your new arrivals. Plus, I brought some pan dulce for you.
Oh, my favorite. Wait, where's Alejandro?
Huh? What do you mean? He's right.
Arturo and Martha look around. No one. A voice is heard off stage.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Alejandro enters.
Where did you run off to? I had to finish the lunch rush without you. Do you know how many things I probably said wrong?
En español, por favor.
Ay, leave him alone. How are you doing, Ale?
Better now. My Spanish still needs work, but I think I'm getting better.
Did the book I gave you help?
Somewhat, but I think it's one of those things where I just gotta learn by speaking it instead of just reading the pages. But thank you though.
So, do we get to see the new arrivals yet?
Right on time. Let's go.
Martha opens the box and each grab a book.
Dating out of the closet. Is this like a self-help book? Ale, maybe you could use this one to find you someone. It seems like this one has some really good energy from it.
Ha ha ha. Very funny. Oh, this one seems interesting. What if straight wasn't the default? This book is like that one video I saw where being queer was the norm and heterosexuality was like the weird one out.
Well, which one do you want to read first?
Let's do the dating one.
Sure, I'm down to hear it.
Okay, let's see. This is the story of how Yulitza enters.
This is a story of how one text completely changed my life. You know, I've been kind of a bit of a risk taker, and this was another one of those risks. I had just left a super well-paid job to go back to school and pursue the career that I knew I would love and enjoy. The bills sure as hell didn't leave, so I had to take up a job at one of the grocery stores by my house to have some money coming in. I'd been working here for a few months, and then this new girl was hired, and let me tell you, she was stunning. I really wanted to get to know her better, but because work was always so busy and our schedules didn't always match up, I couldn't. Plus, I'm super awkward when it comes to flirting. Last time I tried to be sly or flirtatious, I guess I ended up knocking an entire shelf of canned food on me. I tell you, when I emerged from the cans and saw her smile, laughing, I just wanted to run and hide because she probably thinks I'm a klutz. So anyways, there's one day that we were working together and I'm restocking these shelves and one of my other coworkers came up to me.
Vanessa enters.
Hey, what time are you off?
7:30. Why? What's up?
Oh, you're off earlier today. Nothing. Do you have any plans?
Not really. I'll probably just get a nice bottle of wine and call it an early night. Today's just been a hard day.
Well, if you don't have any real plans, a few of us are getting together tonight to just hang out, have a few drinks. Nothing crazy since people have to drive home.
It's been a long day and I just want to be home with a nice shower and throw myself on the bed with a nice book.
Jane's gonna be there.
Yulitza drops one of the boxes and scrambles to pick it up.
Oh, really? What does it have to do with anything?
Oh, come on. You act like you don't like her, but I know you have a huge crush on her.
Oh, I don't. I just think she's a really great person. Well, so happens to be beautiful. And stylish. She never looks like she's having a bad day. And her laugh, it's so contagious. And oh my god! Maybe I have a crush.
Yuli, it's not a bad thing. Besides, when was the last time you hung out with us?
Dave's birthday party, I think. Remember his kids dared him to hop on the water slide and he ended up crashing into the fence?
Sheesh, the way his arm was broken. Ugh, I still get gagged by how it looked. Look, just come hang out for an hour. If you don't like it, you can head home and I won't hold it against you. But also, if you end up enjoying it, you owe me lunch next shift. Deal?
Okay, deal.
Okay, we're meeting at my place at 9. Don't be late.
Vanessa exits.
So I get home, and for the life of me, I just can't find the motivation to get ready. I'm just wandering around my apartment doing things to distract myself so that I could be like, oh, something super important came up. Oh, no, that's not believable. What if I say my toilet is flooded, or maybe even I got stuck in a vending machine? No, they'll never believe that either. And then I get a text from an unsaved number.
Hey, it's Jane. I got your number from Vanessa. I hope that's okay. Anyways, I want to know if you're still coming tonight.
Baby, when I tell you, I threw myself off of the bed and into the shower, fully got ready, and all in less than an hour. I felt like I was in high school, getting ready to go with my friends. I remember I was walking out of my apartment and saw myself in the mirror, and I was like, damn, I look good. And I walked out confidently. And when I got to my car, I caught a glimpse of myself again, and I remembered the falling cans, and I just thought, maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I should just stay home and save myself any more embarrassment. I opened my phone to check the time, and her text was still up.
Are you still coming tonight?
With that text, I was like, you know what? I am. I got in my car and I drove straight there. When I got there, everyone was sitting and talking. Vanessa came over and had me sit right across from Jane. And I remember I wanted to punch her in the face so bad because I was like, why the hell does she want me to embarrass myself so early? We each said hello. And I was blushing so bad I felt like I was going to start burning up. We just started talking about small things like work and plans for the week. And then we started talking about our past and dreams and goals. And even though we were in a room full of other people, it felt like it was just us. Eventually, I had to go home and pull myself off the couch, and when I looked around, almost everybody had left already. She offered to walk me to my car, and so I waved bye to everyone else. And even in the short walk to my car, it felt like we had like 100 more conversations. We get to my car, and I'm always a little awkward when it comes to goodbyes because I'm like, do you want a high five, a hug, a European kiss thing? Like, I don't know. She motions for a hug. And I go to meet her. Oh my God. I never wanted that moment to end. And it didn't. Not like those hugs where you're like, yeah, okay, bye. She hugged me and lingered. And that's when I knew. I knew she liked me back too. Anyways, I kind of went on a tangent again. And I don't know if you're still listening to this, but I'm looking at myself in the mirror again, and here's what I gotta say.
Oh, that was so sweet. I'm gonna cry.
Look at the happy couple on the author's picture. They seem so happy. Don't you think so, Arturo?
Arturo is wiping tears away from his face.
Yeah. Damn. Ugh. Are you making chiles rellenos in here? The smoke's getting in my eye.
Ay, que valiente. Come on, let it out. It's okay to cry.
I'm not crying. I hate you.
I know you do. But what is she gonna say?
Oh, well, what do you know? The page is empty.
What? But I gotta know what she was gonna say. Are they still together?
Well, we'll eventually know what happens next. For now, let's read the one you found.
Can you imagine a world where being straight wasn't the default sexuality? Like, what if being queer was the norm and being straight wasn't? Okay, so imagine this. You're walking down the street with your partner, hand in hand, maybe even a kiss or two, and there's no fear. You don't have to look over your shoulder before embracing them. There's no weird stares and no fear that someone's gonna say something mean or disrespectful towards you. No fear that they're gonna fetishize you. There's no fear that someone could attack you or even kill you. It's just you and your partner. You can walk into grocery stores, a bakery, or even a court office to get a marriage certificate, to show your partner how much they mean to you and how there's no one else in the world that you'd rather spend your life with, without being told by some bigot that we don't serve your kind. The world would just be accepting, like it is to straight people now. But what about the straight people of this world? While it's likely that they'd be treated like many queer people around the world are being treated at this day and age, you'd get told that your sexuality isn't valid. It's just a phase after all, right? Maybe you haven't found the right person yet, or maybe you're just too young to know. You'd have to go through the inner struggle of accepting yourself for having a different sexuality, but then also having the pressure to come out with the fear looming over you that you won't be accepted by family and friends. You'll have the fear of potentially being kicked out or disowned by your family. You'll get told that you can't marry someone because it's a sin. You risk being attacked by others every day for the people that you love. You constantly have to come out to everyone you meet, getting questions like, "Oh my God, can you be my straight best friend?" Or even, "Are you sure you're straight? You just don't act like you're straight." And who could forget the all-time favorite? So, who's the, in the relationship? Some countries won't even allow them to live by outlawing their sexuality and sentencing them to death. I mean, that sounds horrible, right? Well, that's the reality that many queer people have had to face and fight against for their right to exist. We've lost so many of our queer siblings at the hands of hate and bigotry, the AIDS crisis of the 80s, and being forced to hide their sexuality to be considered normal. Even the way the world is, we still choose to be free with ourselves and reclaim our pride. Our pride comes from continuing the fight that those who came before us started. Our pride comes from knowing that we've made it this far so that our future generations can live in a world that was better than the one we found ourselves in. We have pride in ourselves for our strength and resilience to stand together as a community. We're all different, but it's in our differences being acknowledged and responded with others that we will find our true unity.
Wow.
I never really thought of it like that.
What do you mean?
Like, if the world was flipped and queer was the norm, but straight wasn't, why would we want to subject them to the same things that we go through?
I mean, my dad told me about my character, so
Wait, really?
yeah. We had to talk about it after things were getting back to normal between us, but he kind of joked about it. I mean, he's grown a lot. He treats Kevin like he's one of his best friends, and they're literally inseparable sometimes.
Ay, qué hermosos.
Arturo smiles and begins to blush.
Yeah. I'm really happy he's in my life now, even though they talk to each other more than me sometimes. But what's the next book, Martha?
This one right here, No Mames, written by Julian Carrasco. There are two people, uno and dos, sitting together at a table. They are chismeando. They suddenly burst into laughter.
Hey, I knew she was a tramposa, pero I never knew she was down that bad.
Ay, chili. Anyways, did you see the Starbucks guy?
Oh, yeah.
Que guapo. Oh my god. I just couldn't keep my eyes off him.
Yeah, I guess so.
What? You don't think so?
Well, no, I thought he was kind of cute.
Oye, ¿qué te pasa?
Nothing. It just doesn't feel right.
Why?
Well, I think he's straight.
What? How do you know?
Well, he looks hetero.
How? How can you tell if he's straight?
I don't know. I mean, he didn't seem, well, you know.
Gay?
Shh. Yes. Yes. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay. Well, you don't know that for sure?
Sure I do. I mean, for instance, look at you.
What about me?
Well, you don't exactly look femenina.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
Well, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it must be a duck.
Okay, so I'm gay. So what?
So, how would you feel if some guy comes up to you and starts flirting with you and asks for your number?
Well, I guess I would let him run his course, but let him down easily before he gets too explicit or touchy.
Uno gestures, I told you so.
Okay. I get it. But what? I can't fantasize what he might be like? Meow.
Ay, no mames.
The barista mentioned earlier enters and sits down 2 tables from Uno and Dos. He starts reading a book.
Oh my god! He's literally right there.
Please don't do anything stupid.
I'm gonna go over there to introduce myself.
God, no.
Uno gets up and walks over to the barista. He does not notice them at first.
Hi, my name's Uno. Couldn't help but notice you're over here, reading alone. Must be an interesting read.
Barista talks without looking up.
It is actually.
Oh. No. Of course.
Barista continues reading and Uno is anxiously trying to figure out what to say next.
So, you come here often?
Hi, babe. Ready to go?
Hey, yeah.
Was that person bothering you?
I was just too busy reading.
No, pues wow. Yeah, I guess you forgot to consider that maybe he might have been in a relationship. Just forget about it. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you'll be all right. There's someone out there for you. You're a catch.
Gracias, amiga.
Oh my god, that's happened to me a few times. Even when I think I can trust my gut, I always seem to stumble with that.
Yeah, dating used to be really hard for me because I would try talking to everyone only to get ghosted or blocked. But when you find the one, you just know.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Which one's next, Marta?
Here's this one.
Car interior. Giselle and Nathan are driving home. On the radio, an announcer's voice is heard. Sounds like the KRS 101 announcer.
You're listening to Nina rocking West Coast hits on WCR 96.4. I'm your host, Kathy Nina Gonzalez, and we got an amazing lineup for you starting tonight. Whether you're coming home from work or on your way to work, or out with your friends, or driving the road of SoCal, you can always trust on your Nina to give you music to travel with wherever you go. Next up on the playlist is Like I'm Gonna Lose You by Megan Trainor and John Legend right after this commercial break.
Ugh, not that song again.
What do you mean? I think it's a good song. Why does they sound good together?
I just don't like the song.
Oh, okay.
Commercial noises. The O'Reilly Auto Parts jingle plays.
You want to get something to eat after on the way home?
No.
Oh, are you and Betty gonna hang out tonight or get food again?
No. No.
Is she doing something else tonight?
Yeah, probably.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure you guys can hang out next time, right?
I don't think there's gonna be a next time.
Is everything okay?
Yes, everything is fine, Nate.
I know when you're lying to me.
How do you know I'm lying?
Well, you started to speed once I started asking questions about Betty, and that only happens when you want the conversation to end quicker.
How that?
He looks at him in disbelief and checks her speed. She slowly lowers her speed.
What's going on?
Look, before I tell you anything, I need you to promise me something.
What?
Promise me you won't get all Disney princess on me.
What do you mean? You want me to pull out my spare aerial wig and sing Party of Your World on the top of the car?
I mean more like, don't get all like, aw, oh my god, congrats.
I don't get like that. Okay, maybe I do.
And if you break your promise, you have to buy me something off my Amazon wish list.
Okay, I promise.
Okay, so you know how Betty and I were close friends, right?
Yeah.
Well, we weren't just friends.
Okay.
We were dating. I'm gay.
Oh my god!
You promised me no Disney princess bullshit.
Bitch, shut up and let me enjoy this moment.
I'm gonna punch you and leave you on the side of the road. Find your own way home.
Okay. I'm sorry. Look, I just want to say thank you for being open with me about that. I appreciate it. And since we're on the topic, I think this would be a good time to tell you that I'm also gay.
No. Oh my god, that's so shocking.
Bitch, I will throw my shoe at you.
Giselle and Nathan burst into laughter.
Damn. First you steal my fries, then you steal my coming out moment. Can't have nothing in this car.
You said you weren't gonna eat them that time.
We just came out to each other, didn't we?
Yeah. Yes, we did, huh? Wait. Well, what do you mean there's not gonna be a next time?
Well, that's because Betty and I broke up.
Oh.
It's alright. We kind of agreed it was best to go our separate ways and not be together anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's life.
Is that why you've been acting so weird all day?
Yeah, it's just been hitting a little harder today.
Tell you what, get up on the next exit.
What? Why? It's still another 20 minutes before we get home.
Because I know somewhere that's gonna make you feel better. And also close to food places. We can make a quick stop to get you something from your wish list and pick up some food on the way home. You know, just to justify the detour.
You paying for my food or gas?
Bitch, I guess I'll pay for your food since you want to act so generous.
Shut up, loser. Let's go then.
Wait, that's the end? Where did they go eat? What happens next?
Look at the last page. It's a picture of them with food.
You picture Giselle and Nathan smiling with a drink in their hands.
You look so happy.
That food does look good. But why are all of the remaining pages blank?
Yeah, it's like there's way more that we need to find out.
All it takes is a little bit of patience. But while we wait, how about this one?
I struggle a bit when I try to say things in Spanish, especially when I'm trying to help out somebody who only speaks Spanish. Sometimes I kind of just stand there and try to think of what to say, but I end up embarrassing myself or having to call one of my friends to help me translate. I also kind of feel like since I'm Mexican, I should know how to speak Spanish, right? I mean, I know I'm not alone in this. I've even asked a few of my friends who either spoke some Spanish or none at all, and each of them said different things.
Well, I'm like I think either first or second gen, and honestly, we don't really speak it that often in my house. I mean, unless we're talking to like other families, like my grandparents, but other than that, we just speak English to each other. Plus, most of my friends speak English anyway, so you can't really have a full conversation with them in Spanish. When I was growing up, my parents pushed us to make sure we learned English so life could be easier for us. Everyone at school spoke English, so I eventually ended up with me only speaking Spanish at home. And I'm not as good as my parents are, but I can carry a conversation. Honestly, I was embarrassed and sometimes ashamed of speaking Spanish when I was younger. Like, I remember hating parent-teacher conferences because I had a lot of white teachers growing up. And so they'd be trying to tell my mom something, and she looked at me after they would say something like, ¿Qué dijo? And I just remember there would be this awkward silence, and I try to figure out how to translate things for her. But now I look back and it makes me so mad and frustrated that I thought like that, because now the Spanish that I know benefits me when I'm helping out other people who have difficulty speaking English. Like when I start speaking Spanish to them, I just see them getting instantly more comfortable and happier because they know I can understand them and answer their questions. I just love being able to help others because it warms my heart. But I just wish I knew how to speak it more.
I think I can speak it pretty good, but the thing that gets me is when people are like, "Oh, I didn't know you were Mexican." I even had one guy tell me, you speak Mexican, right? I was like, what the fuck? Not everyone who speaks Spanish is Mexican. There are other Spanish-speaking countries like Guatemala, Cuba, Honduras, and El Salvador, but people don't talk about them enough because the education system in the US is shit. And you only learn more about it if you take a class in college or you do your own research.
I just feel like I get shit from both sides. If I speak Spanish in front of people, I either mess up bad, or people get mad at me and tell me to just speak English. If I don't speak enough Spanish, they could even tell me that I'm not Mexican enough. Like, bitch, who died and gave you the power to decide who's Mexican enough? I am who I am, and I don't need your irrelevant ass telling me otherwise. Especially not somebody who thinks Guatemala is French for guacamole. See? They get what I go through when I try to speak Spanish.
You know, this isn't the first book we've gotten about someone struggling with speaking Spanish.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, in almost every new box of books we get, there always seems to be at least one book with this story in it. Look, here's the one we got in the last box.
Marta pulls out a box from underneath her table and begins to read.
Orale! That's what we say, right? See, I don't really know because I didn't grow up speaking Spanish. You see, English was my first language. Pero anyone in the older generations would tell me, que no hablas español. Tiene un nopal al frente. Yeah, I get that a lot. Especially from the English speakers. But you look Mexican, so you must speak Spanish, right? Yeah, because I don't look like I was born here, I must not speak English then? It's insane to think that even in Southern California, someone who looks like me is still considered foreign and is discriminated against. And on top of that, I'm bisexual or pansexual. Either way, I'm queer. Queer and Mexican. And the best part about that is I don't feel completely connected to either family. I may like men, but I also like women. And I think anyone in between the spectrum too, I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure myself out. Yet I don't exist, or I'm just hiding the fact that I'm really gay. Either I'm not Mexican enough and not gay enough, but I'm just different enough to be different from the norm. Which, to be honest, I kind of like that. I don't have a specific label. I don't belong to one particular community. And that's all right by me. I love being different because if I wasn't, I would just be another John or Jane walking down the street. I don't expect everyone to understand me because I don't entirely understand myself. All I know is that I am who I am. I am me.
Everyone always wants us to fit into this cookie cutter shape, but we don't. We're not meant to fit in with everyone.
It's one of life's greatest struggles. But if everyone was the same, there'd be no fun, no flavor, no spice. We all want to be accepted, but there will always be people who don't accept us for who we are. Some may even call us broken. There was a story mi abuela used to tell us when we were younger. It's in this book here. She used to say there was a person from her pueblo who would wake up every day at the crack of dawn and scream to the world.
I exist. You might not see me here, but you will hear me. It's funny because even though they pretend I don't exist, they have no problem talking about me to the rest of the town. They all think I'm broken, just because I don't feel any sexual attraction towards anyone. They all try to tell me the usual, well, maybe you haven't met the right person yet. Right. I remember when my brother came home from college, he had this heavy science textbook about biological life, and there was this extensive section about amoebas. I was reading about how they reproduce asexually, and I sort of laughed because I was like, that's stupid. But He told me how he learned that the word asexual also applied to people who didn't experience any sexual attraction. Which got me thinking. I finally had a word for what I felt, but I still don't like having a label to me. You know? Sometimes I just feel formless, and I just want to be. Amoebas are everywhere, though you can't see them. That's just like me. And I'm sure there are many people out there in the same position. Even if you can't see us, we are here. So I swear, every morning, I'll come out of my house and I'll yell, I exist. Because we are here, and we certainly aren't broken.
Do people really think that queer people are broken?
Unfortunately, some people do.
Why?
Well, there are a lot of reasons. One of the main reasons for them holding this judgment comes from religious beliefs. Scriptures written hundreds of years ago tell people that they must act a certain way in order to enjoy their afterlife. A simple mistranslation error, and people think that being something other than straight is wrong. And yet they choose to ignore what is stated about, oh, I don't know, tattoos, shellfish, mixing fabrics, and divorce. Beliefs are good, and every person should be free to believe in what they choose to, but so many become blinded by their beliefs and end up causing harm without them knowing.
You mean like this one?
Man walks in. He seems to have gotten home from doing some sport of strenuous activity. He walks into his home to hear his mom speaking with a friend. He begins to overhear the conversation, stopping him dead in his tracks.
¿Pero cómo crees? ¿Tu hijo gusta a los hombres?
Ay, no. Eso es algo del internet. Miré en el Facebook que todos los chicos están practicando esas porquerías.
Comadre, entiende. No me importa todo lo que hacen los hijos afuera de esa puerta. Pero mi hijo no es gay.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. I was maybe 2 weeks away from telling you. Telling you everything I've kept inside me for 22 years. I was ready to say it, spill it, just scream it. It's 2 weeks away. It's gone. I was 2 weeks away from telling you who I was. Telling you that the girl I took to my senior prom was just my friend. At the dance I met Diego. The same Diego that I shared my first real kiss with. That in the first grade when I saw Brian Matterson, I was head over heels. I followed him around everywhere. So much so that I called you home to say that Brian felt threatened by me. I didn't want to hurt him. I just wanted to hold his hand and give him flowers. I was 2 weeks away from telling you that I wasn't like you. Now that's all gone. I walked in today expecting to be greeted with a kiss, a concha, un vaso de café dándose. Instead, I was greeted with a car crash, a punch, an earthquake, a tsunami, a wall.
Pero mi hijo no es.
Your voice was so strong. Your voice was steel. Your voice stopped a bullet and turned it around and shot me straight through the chest. How would you know? How could your voice be so sure?
Pero mi hijo no es.
Was it because you only dressed me in blue? Was it because you only let me play sports? Was it because I was supposed to be the man of the house? Or was it because Los Santos y el Diosito tan dulce de arriba te dijo? Was it because being like this was something people make up for attention? Or because at church they tell you it's wrong and disgusting? How could I want to do something so wrong and disgusting? Did you know? Every single night for the first 15 years of my life, I prayed for God not to make me this way. I prayed I could be someone you loved and respected. I just wanted to be the same. I didn't want to be different. Your father-in-law's wrong. Please don't make my mom mad at me. Please make me different. I'll do what you ask. I'll go to church every Sunday and Wednesday. I won't drink alcohol. Do anything. Just please. Please don't make my mom hate me. Do you know what that does to a kid? To be convinced that your mother won't hate you?
Pero mi hijo no es.
It's not true. I'll never know how to form the right sentence. If I tell you, you wouldn't believe me. Would you throw me out of the house?
Pero mi hijo no es.
I won't let anyone else win. I can't keep myself a secret just to appease everyone else.
Pero mi hijo no es.
I hate you. I'm strong. I'm valid. I'm whole. I'm content.
Pero mi hijo no es.
Sí. Tu hijo sí es que. Orgulloso. Brillante.
This one hurt me to read.
Yes, it's a painful story, one that so many young queer kids experience, and it is just an outright tragedia. Don't you think so, Arturo?
Yeah, sorry, it brought up a lot of things for me.
Are you okay?
No. I need a minute.
I think it's best we take a short break before continuing. Go check on Arturo. That story must have brought up some feelings that he hasn't experienced in a while. I'll bring him a piece of the puerquitos he bought for me. I know it's his favorite.
Act 2, Scene 1. Arturo sits wiping his tears. Alejandro sits next to him and comforts him. Marta enters.
Then, I got your favorite, a little puerquito.
Gracias, Marta.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it just that last scene really got me.
¿Por qué?
Because that's my story.
What?
I was the guy in that book. All of it, that's me.
I know.
But why is it here?
The books only come to me when the chapter has ended. It usually means that the person was able to move forward and accept what happened.
But I didn't. Well, not at first. I remember I finally couldn't take it anymore, and so I told both of my parents. My mom went off and cried, and my dad went to comfort her. I was alone after that. I didn't know what to feel. My dad came in and he said it was going to be okay, but just to not bring any guys home like crazy. I never really got closure with my mom. She died before she could meet Kevin. Dad tells me she would have loved him. He told me how much she missed me every day, even though I called them every single night. I just never got to hear from her that she loved me for who I am.
These books don't appear until there's been some acceptance or push into the next chapter of your life. Can you think of anything that happened since she passed that may have affected your relationship with her?
Well, Kevin and I went to her grave, and I remember he talked about how he was so lucky to meet me and how I make him happy. And we gave her these beautiful red roses. As Kevin was talking to her, I saw that there was this beautiful white rose in the bunch. It wasn't there when we bought it, but I didn't draw his attention to it. I just remembered how my mom loved her white roses because my dad would always bring her some for any special occasion. I pulled it out and Kevin stopped. He looked at me and he said, "Oh, I remember you always used to buy me these when we first started going out." And I just remembered how every single anniversary we had, I always had white roses for him. I knew there wasn't a white rose when we bought the bunch, but I just know my mom left it for me. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I know it's her because she always used to give me one to put in my room.
Nothing in this world happens by pure coincidence. Even in death, we are still connected to each other. Your mother may be gone from this physical world, but she lives on in the memories you have of her. Yes, some may be negative, but there must be a balance between negative and positive for us to be human.
I remember a few days ago, there was another book that had arrived that kind of had a similar experience to your coming out, Duro. It went like this.
Soledad anxiously enters the room and goes to the front desk. She sets her things down and begins trying to keep herself busy. You can see that she is struggling to. Having failed to distract herself, she begins anxiously tapping on the desk. Alex enters, mildly distracted by the music, while Soledad is busy in her thoughts.
Good morning, Soledad. Hey, are you okay?
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. But how are you?
Okay, Alex. I'm going to tell you something, but you have to promise not to tell anyone.
Yeah, I promise. What's up?
I came out to my parents.
What? Oh my God, that's so great.
Via letter.
What?
I wrote a letter to my parents and I left it on their doorstep.
Oh.
Trying to figure out how to comfort her.
That's not so bad. At least that way you don't have to do it in person.
You don't get it. I wrote them like a 6-page letter and I just left it on their doorstep. I addressed it to them for me, but that's it. I didn't shoot them a text and say, "Hey, I left you a letter." I didn't knock and then leave. I didn't send it to them in the mail. I just left it there. What if one of their friends goes over, picks it up, gives it to them, and then they read it right then and there? Or what if they read it on their own time and they're completely angry? I'm not going to know their honest reactions.
So, breathe. Just take a moment for yourself and breathe.
Does the breathing exercise with her.
You're gonna be okay. I know this seems bad right now, but it can't really be that bad.
3 of the pages are detailed descriptions of my first couple of queer experiences.
How detailed?
I mean, I may have mentioned how nervous I was for my first kiss, how it felt, what we did, how I felt during it, what I was thinking during it, and how I felt afterwards.
So, you know that I love you and that I'm always going to be as non-judgmental as possible, right?
Yes.
Why would you write your parents a detailed letter of your queer experiences? What could have possibly possessed you to write that?
I don't know.
Oh, what did I walk into?
I came out to my parents in a 6-page letter in which 3 of those pages consist of detailed descriptions of my first queer experiences.
Oh, that's not so bad. You still have 3 other pages. What are the other 3 pages about?
The moment of realization.
You wrote 3 pages of the moment you realized you were queer?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of like poetic.
Why are you freaking out over this? That's kind of beautiful. It goes to show that you have very strong feelings about this topic and that you felt like this for so long that you just have so much to say and so much to tell them. You can relax. There's no right or wrong way of coming out. And if you're lucky, they might not even understand the letter.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
Oh shit. It's my dad.
We'll be in the back organizing some new towels we got in. Holler if you need us.
Good luck. We love you.
Hola, pa. ¿Cómo está? Sí, estoy bien. ¿Por qué habla? Oh, sí. The letter. Look, pa. I'm not sure if you read it or not, but I just have to tell you my truth. I know I wrote it there, but that's not even the whole truth. I don't know if you understood the letter or not, or if you just tried to twist my truth into something else, but I'm bisexual. Soy bisexual. I've known since I was about 11 or 12 years old. Can you even imagine that? 11 o 12. Y de esto estoy segura. For years, you and mom kept asking me when I was going to get a boyfriend or making jokes with the rest of the family about how some of my cousins are gay, and you never stopped to think about how it would make me feel. It didn't make me feel good. I hate that everyone always assumed I was straight at school, at work, in life, but it hurt when it was my own family. Having heard you say all those jokes hurt me and made me afraid of you. I was afraid to be myself because I was afraid that you would hurt me, kick me out, or disown me. Why do you think I never wanted to be home? I was always trying to escape my miserable reality. I would spend hours in the library reading books as an escape, as a way to cope with my emotions. I would join all of these extracurricular activities so that I didn't have to be home and I could keep my mind busy. That's when I discovered theater as a form of release for me. And the fact that you never appreciated my passion and activity in theater goes to show how much you appreciate me. So at the end of the day, I don't even know why I bothered writing you that letter or telling you all of this. I guess I just needed to get that off of my chest. There's nothing to talk about. I'm opening up to you and telling you my truth. That is non-debatable. You either accept me or not, but I'm not going to wait around waiting for your response. Bye.
She hangs up the phone and continues reading at the desk.
Well, that one didn't have a happy ending either. Most of these don't. It's like someone only wrote this part of the book and then decided to take years off from writing the rest of it.
Come to think of it, this book is missing pages too.
Martha, ¿qué pasa?
Come here. Let me show you something.
She hands them each a box of books. They both go through each of the books and flip through the pages.
These books are all blank except for a few stories in each of them.
All the rest of the pages for this one are blank too. Why? What happens next? Are they dating someone new? Is the food even good? I need to know.
Con calma, Arturo. Not every story is complete when it arrives here. Sometimes all we get are a few chapters of a person's life, and that slowly begin to gather as a person goes through their life. Look,
Marta pulls out a large box of books.
this is the beginning half of their stories. They've had many life experiences, and yet their stories are nowhere near finished. That's the joy of life. When they live their final moments on earth, the book comes together for them to experience everything for one last time before leaving to rest. See here.
She grabs a few books from a different bookcase.
These are just a few of the stories of the people who have passed. Do you see how massive these books are? This contains every memory, every emotion, everything that made the person who they were. When you hold these books, you are holding their lives. For these moments where you feel like your life is crumbling apart or as if it's ending, most often it is another chapter of your life that is ending. It can be painful, but can also offer relief in knowing that with every new chapter, you will get to create new stories and memories, all of which are being written by you. May your books be filled with stories that can be passed down through generations, and when your time comes, know that your stories will be safe and protected here. En la Librería de Remedios.
End of scene 3, Act 2, El fin.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción, yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente. Con una pasión tan fuerte. Ay, 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 ay. Ahora sigo cantando y sigo gozando. Yo sigo